All right, guys, welcome back to Renaissance Man Media, and I'm finishing up my wall of entertainment, my Blu-rays, and I'm even going to go into some DVDs and my TV shows. I should be able to bang out within an hour. Should be able to bang out the rest of everything else. So we left off the year 2013. So let's get into it. Okay, we got Iron Man 3, a movie that I don't care what anybody says. The whole Mandarin thing was such a bummer. I don't care what anyone says. I still like aspects of this movie because it's Robert Downey Jr., it's Iron Man, but I was not happy about everything. Mud, I didn't see this movie until a few years ago. It's actually pretty good, and Reese Witherspoon does a great job in it as well. Um, Star Trek Into Darkness, this, for the longest, I mean, this was up there as far as my favorite movies of 2013. Like I said, I'm not a Star Trek person, but I thought that was pretty damn good. Cumberbatch does a great job. Excuse me, Fast and Furious 6, I thought this was not as good as Fast 5, but pretty damn good. And then shortly, I think either shortly before this came out, I think it was shortly before this came out, Paul Walker had died. So, kind of sad. Um, Man of Steel. I'm a ginormous Superman fan, so for me, this movie, when I saw it in theaters, this gave me everything that I've always wanted from a Superman movie. And it's just a shame that even though we got teased a few months ago that Henry Cavill was going to be back as Superman, James Gunn had the brilliant idea of being like, no, let's go with someone younger. That's James Gunn's an idiot. I'm sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy is not so good that that guy should be in charge. I don't understand. Um, okay, World War Z. I didn't see this movie until a few years ago, and actually, it was a movie that I'd owned for a long time, and I was like, I've been meaning to watch it. And I finally sat down and watched it. I was like, it's pretty good. As far as because Zombieland is a zombie movie, but it's a comedy, really. As far as serious zombie movies go, this is the only one I think that I own that I'm actually like, yeah, I enjoy this movie. I was surprised because I'd heard that that movie had to do reshoots and all that kind of stuff. Red 2, I remember I saw this in theaters with the girl that I was trying to date that it didn't work out. But anyway, I don't know. I need to rewatch this. The Red movies, I think they're okay. The Wolverine, I really like this one. I think the whole concept of him going to Japan, it's the cinematography of this movie's great. What it sets up, I don't know. I loved it, and I love the black case with it. I don't know. I thought it was pretty damn good. Two Guns, an underrated action comedy. I do need to rewatch this because it's been a hot minute, but I remember liking Wahlberg and Denzel's chemistry. We're the Millers. I remember this was actually a pretty funny movie. I do need to rewatch it, but I remember liking it a lot. Elysium, haven't seen this since theaters, but I thought it was a cool concept about what happens with people like in a sci-fi world with like the rich. Kick-Ass 2, Jim Carrey was in this. I remember liking this, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Prisoners. Great movie. I believe even though Man of Steel is my jam and I love it, I think I had to give my best movie of 2013 to Prisoners. This was when Denis Villeneuve, or whatever his name, this is the first movie I remember seeing that I was like, his name came on my radar because like, who the hell directed this? Great movie. Hugh Jackman was great. Runner Runner, I saw this. I remember liking it. Timberlake was actually pretty good in this, but I think most people thought this movie sucked. I do need to rewatch it. Ender's Game. This is a movie that if I rewatched it, I probably would sell this movie. I remember in theaters, it was okay. Thor: The Dark World, the infamous Dark World that everyone acknowledges is not that great of a movie. Although that being said, I do need to rewatch it because I remember I still like Thor as a character, so I still remember liking it a little bit. Catching Fire. This probably would have finished third. I really liked this movie. I still think this is the best Hunger Games movie they came out with. I never thought I would care that much about Hunger Games, but this movie I actually cared about like the love story that was going on, and I felt bad for that Peter guy. And I was like, come on, J Law, like fucking like that dude's the guy you should be getting with, and they kind of get in with that. So I don't know. I liked it. Hobbit: Desolation of Smog. I think this one's the best one. It has the most stuff happening in it. The third one I think is the weakest one. But anyway, yeah. The Hobbit movies, I think they're good. Like I said, they're not great. Anchorman 2, I need to rewatch this, but I remember thinking it wasn't all that funny. American Hustle, need to rewatch that. To give you an honest opinion of it, I thought it was okay. Wolf of Wall Street. My complaint about this movie was it was like 45 minutes too long because what they do drugs for so long that I'm like, I get it, they're high, I get it, they're fucked up. Like, okay. This is the first movie I remember seeing Margot Robbie in, and as soon as I saw her, I was like, she needs to play Harley Quinn. And then she eventually did. She has the perfect smile for it. So glad. Maybe I could be a casting director. I don't know. Lone Survivor. I thought this was a pretty damn good movie. I do need to rewatch it because I saw it in theaters. I think that was the last time. Like I've said many times, most of these movies, or a lot of them, I saw them in theaters, and then I haven't rewatched them since, and I need to. 300: Rise of an Empire. I remember liking this movie a lot. It's not as good as 300, but I liked it. Winter Soldier. Great movie. Up there, top 5 Marvel movie. I did not know what was going to happen in that movie, so that threw me for a loop. Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't think this is as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I really don't. When I saw this in theaters, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was bad. I was like, okay. I mean, I've heard rumors that because of like No Way Home, they might make an Andrew Garfield third movie. I would really like that. Godzilla. I think this was my favorite movie of 2014 because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. This gave me everything that I wanted, and then I've been happy with the sequels as well. So, because they took Godzilla seriously, but they also didn't make him the bad guy. X-Men: Days of Future Past, the Roca. This is actually probably my favorite X-Men movie. I remember thinking this movie's great, and it was pretty much everything that I had wanted. By mixing the old cast, the new cast, loved it. Edge of Tomorrow. This movie is just as good as everyone says it is. I mean, the title on here says Live, Die, Repeat, but on the side it says Edge of Tomorrow. I call it Edge of Tomorrow, but yeah, cool concept for a movie, and I was surprised by how much I liked it, but it's pretty good. A lot of people like it. 22 Jump Street. I need to rewatch this. The sequel I thought was fine. Transformers: Age of Extinction. Fine. It's not a great movie, but the special effects. If you're there to watch Transformers fight each other, you'll get your money's worth. Whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy. I like this, but once again, James Gunn. I don't think this is worth him being able to decide Henry Cavill can't be Superman anymore. Expendables 3, like I said, if you've seen one Expendables, you've pretty much seen them all. The November Man, this felt to me like a 007 sequel, so I remember liking it, but I need to rewatch it, but it was fine. I love Pierce Brosnan, though. Walk Among the Tombstones, I don't really know why I own this. It's Liam Neeson, but it's just kind of slow and boring, if I remember correctly. And then Gone Girl. Gone Girl I saw in theaters and was actually surprised by how well I liked it. Ben Affleck, pretty good in this. He didn't direct this, but it was David Fincher. Pretty good. Okay, let's see if that stays there. On to the next one. We're at we're like in the fall of 2014 right now. So we got Fury. I saw this a few years after it came out. I was really amazed with how much I liked Fury. Pretty good. John Wick. We all know about John Wick. John Wick, the first one, great. This is probably the best movie of 2014. It's like, for me, it's like John Wick, Godzilla, Winter Soldier, all in that mix. And Fury's up there. Interstellar. I like this movie, I think, more than most people because I love what they went for, that they went so bold with the concept of the movie, and I really liked it. And McConaughey did a great job. Mockingjay Part 1. There's a lot of setup in that movie. I don't remember thinking it was all that great. Battle of the Five Armies. This movie, the CGI just wasn't great. But like I said, I can watch this movie, but the Hobbit movies could never touch the Lord of the Rings movies. Taken 3. I remember liking this more than Taken 2, but it's still the only Taken that matters is the first one, really. American Sniper. I didn't watch this until like the last year or so. I liked it, but probably need to watch it again to be down pat with it. Kingsman, when I saw this in theaters, I was blown away with how much I liked it. Really funny, really good. The second one I couldn't stand. I watched that one. I was like, why do I hate it so much? It just wasn't good. But this one, really damn good. Okay. Fast and Furious 7. So the song in this is good, and this is Paul Walker's last one where he had like images of him in it because he'd done some of this movie. I remember this is the one where like Vin Diesel like said only the streets win, and he like pounded his foot again, like stomped, and he caused like a parking garage to go down or something like that. And I was like, I think I'm done after this. Although I will say I have another one in here. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Unpopular opinion, I like this one more than the first one. I just thought Ultron was a really interesting villain and better than Loki for a second time. Mad Max Fury Road, a really simple plot but executed really well. Jurassic World. I liked the refresh into Jurassic Park. That being said, this one could still never touch the first 3. And then I haven't seen the latest two, but I've heard I'm not missing much. Um, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. This is actually my favorite Mission Impossible. I was blown away by, I forgot her name, Rebecca, I think. Rebecca Ferguson. She's so sexy, and I thought she was great in it. And the plot I really liked. Black Mass. I like this movie, I guess, more than most people. I thought Johnny Depp did a really good job in that one. I saw that one fairly recently. Sicario. This would be my favorite movie of 2015. I can't. It's like this one and Mission Impossible, but Sicario takes the cake. Once again, Denis Villeneuve. Sicario is just a great movie. I remember this movie came out like the same week as The Martian, and everyone was like, The Martian. And in the trailer, all I saw was like, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Matt Damon being like, I gotta science the shit out of this. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather watch Sicario. Still never seen The Martian. Heard it was great, but I can't imagine I'd like it more than Sicario. Spectre, not as good as Skyfall, but better than Quantum of Solace, I feel like. So Spectre, I don't feel like gets any love, but I like it, but it's not Casino Royale or Skyfall. Mockingjay Part 2, stuff happens in this one. Still think it doesn't touch Catching Fire, but it's whatever. Creed, interesting concept for like a sequel spin-off kind of thing. I like this one. I do need to rewatch it. The second one, I just was bored. Like, and I'm normally okay with like sequels, but I just was bored. Hateful Eight, I need to rewatch this one, but I remember liking this. It's slow, but I liked it. I was in for it. Probably because Quentin can write dialogue like nobody else. Deadpool, I finally rewatched this. I fell asleep in theaters to this one. Had nothing to do with Deadpool the movie. It was just I was dead tired. Rewatched this summer. I like it. I just don't think Deadpool's as great as everyone says it is. It's like it's a fine movie. It's pretty funny. But Civil War. Civil War's great. Top 5 Marvel movie for me. The Nice Guys. I love these two dudes. I just don't. I need to rewatch this again, but I don't know how good their chemistry is. I've heard some people say they really love that movie. I need to rewatch it. Okay, X-Men Apocalypse. And granted, we're now like in 2016, so this movie is going on 7 years old. When I saw this in theaters, I was happy. I was a happy customer. I know a lot of people complained about this movie, but I remember liking it. So I want to rewatch this. But me, Jesse, and Brendan, my two buddies, we all walked to the theater like, yeah, we really liked it. We don't really know why everyone hated it. Come Hell or High Water, I need to rewatch this one. I saw it on like streaming service, and I thought it. I mean, I was intrigued by Jeff Bridges. I liked it, but I would need to rewatch it. Doctor Strange. This is the epitome of like a basic origin Marvel movie where it's enough to like and buy it because the character is new to you and all that kind of stuff. But they didn't take any chances with this movie. Let's be honest. And I don't own the Multiverse of Madness, the last Doctor Strange movie, because that one got a lot of hype and praise. And when I saw it, I was expecting so much more, and I was a little disappointed. Rogue One. Out of all the new Star Wars movies, this is the only one I actually liked because I felt like this actually added something cool to the lore. I hate the sequel trilogy. Split. If you would not like spoilers, skip ahead or pause the video however you want to do it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, do the spoilers. When I first watched Split, I had no idea this had a tie to Unbreakable whatsoever. So if you can watch this movie without it getting spoiled for you, which obviously you don't want to be hearing this, Split's just like this movie was good enough where I would have bought it, and then the ending happened, and then I was like, it takes it up a whole letter grade of how good it is. Logan, okay, this movie's really good, but I won't lie. People act like this is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. I don't think it's that good. It's good, but it's not that good. Because it has a lot of humanity, it just lacks a lot of action and interest. Kong Skull Island, probably like a guilty pleasure for me. Like it deals with the Godzilla universe, and I like it. Sam Jackson was in it, Tom Hiddleston. Fast and Furious 8, I remember having a good time with the movies with this one. I don't know. I mean, this is when it felt like they were just becoming like super secret agents as opposed to just drivers. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I enjoyed this one. I do need to rewatch it, but I had a good time with this one. Better time than On Stranger Tides, that's for sure. Wonder Woman. When people say like, "Oh, men, they're pigs," and they don't want to watch, they won't support a female-led movie. I don't know. Wonder Woman did pretty good. I think if you have the right woman that can handle the role, and isn't constantly like, I'm tougher than men or I'm just as tough as men. That's not what Wonder Woman was. She embraced her femininity while still being a superhero, and it was good. But I had a great time with the original Wonder Woman. The second one, I thought it was okay, not worth buying on Blu-ray. But Transformers: The Last Knight. Once again, I can sit back and watch this and have an okay time, but it's just I like watching Transformers beat the crap out of each other. That's basically it. I like that. Thor Ragnarok. I was blown away with this movie. This movie was exactly what I wanted a Thor movie to be. I do need to rewatch it, but I love this movie. I haven't seen Love and Thunder, but I heard Love and Thunder wasn't good at all. Black Panther. Obviously, I'm not black, so I don't have the connection with this movie that most black people do of why they rate it so high. I like this movie. I do. But I gotta be honest, I like Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, like the character. I liked what I saw more out of the Civil War movie. Because when he shows up, I was like, who's this guy? I mean, I knew the character Black Panther. I just was like, all of it was new and interesting, and I just thought it was cool. Okay, we're getting to the end of the Blu-rays. Okay, so we're at like 2018, the beginning of 2018. Super Troopers 2, I do need to rewatch this, but I remember thinking it was funny enough. Avengers Infinity War. I like this. I really do like this one, but I got to be honest, I was slightly underwhelmed. It seemed like I had the opposite reaction that a lot of other people did. Incredibles 2, I remember liking it. Sicario de Soldado, same thing. I remember liking it. There's some cool stuff at the end with this movie. Like, honestly, I didn't even realize the second one had come out when I finally picked that movie up. Mission Impossible Fallout. Great movie. You could put it up there with the fifth one and the fourth one. Venom, more like a guilty pleasure movie for me. I had a good time, but I didn't see the second one, but I heard the second one wasn't that good. Halloween, the 2018 version. This was everything I wanted out of a remake / sequel, whatever. I love this. I love the soundtrack of this one because they add like an extra piece to the score, and it's awesome. John Carpenter killed that. Truth be told, Halloween Kills had one good scene in it, and that was it. And then I haven't seen Halloween Ends. Aquaman, I had a good time with this one. I haven't seen it since theaters, but that was like that was 4 years ago. But I had a good time with this one. The second one's coming out soon. I'm looking forward to that. Glass, I was slightly disappointed by this movie. It's still worth watching, I feel like, but wish it would have been better. Avengers Endgame, this is the one that, like, I like this one more than Infinity War. That's just me personally, but the wrapping up of everything, I just thought it was pretty damn good. How well they pulled that off is just amazing to me. John Wick Chapter 3, if you notice, I don't own Chapter 2. Chapter 2 I watched once and I thought it was forgettable, so maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know. Chapter 4 is coming out. That looks good. Godzilla King of the Monsters, sequel to Godzilla. It took them 5 years to come out with this, but you know what? I had a good time with this. Apparently people didn't like it. I liked it. Hobbs and Shaw, good action movie. I don't know. I like The Rock and I like his character, and yeah, it works. Joker, love this movie. Might be my favorite of 2019. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I don't know. It was sorry, I'm tired. I worked night shift. Joker was everything I wanted that movie to be. 1917, love this movie. This might make my top 20 movies of all time. I really love this movie. The single shot thing, which I know it's not actually a single shot, but the illusion, great. That final sequence where he's running on the battlefield across trying to get them to stop, great. The Gentleman, I saw this movie this last summer. I watched it on a streaming service, and I was like, so refreshing. I didn't remember this movie coming out because it happened literally right as COVID hit. And yeah, I mean, The Gentleman, if anyone hasn't seen this, check it out. It's really good. Typical Guy Ritchie, but it lives up to the hype. Godzilla vs. Kong, I had a good time with this movie. I liked it. They're kind of like Transformers movies to me, where I can just shut my brain off and just be like, I just want to watch like big things, CGI things fight. 007 No Time to Die. It's not as good as Skyfall or Casino Royale, but it's like one step below where I'm like, it's still a really solid Bond movie, and I really liked it. And the soundtrack, the theme, the song for the title song for the movie, Billie Eilish. I'm not a big fan of her in general, but that song, she killed it. Spider-Man No Way Home. So I don't own Homecoming or Far From Home because, to be honest, I don't really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man at all. But this movie fixed a lot of the things that I had a problem with. the versions of him. Tom Holland not having any reason of why he would be Spider-Man, no responsibility. Nothing bad ever happened to him. He just was like, whoopee, like always made jokes. And like in this movie, they addressed a lot of that stuff. And the introduction to the merging of the multiverse, such a bold thing to do, and I loved it. I mean, to be honest, I really loved it. I would say it's my second favorite Spider-Man movie, probably behind Spider-Man 2. The Batman, so I don't have, I guess these are the only two, I have two movies from 2022. I guess that shows you slim pickings. I don't think I'm waiting for anything to come out right now. But the Batman blew me away. I expected this movie to be good. This is like maybe my top 10 movies of all time. The atmosphere of what they did with Gotham and the soundtrack for this movie, so spot on. Robert Pattinson did a really good job. Loved the movie. And then Top Gun Maverick is my final Blu-ray movie, and I watched this movie in theaters, and my takeaway was I have zero flaws with this movie. This is a perfect movie. Like I have nothing bad to say about it. So it deserves all the praise that it gets. I honestly don't even care that much for the first Top Gun, but you don't need to watch this movie. Okay, so that's it for the Blu-rays. Let's try and get into the TV shows. Okay, so I have Dragon Ball Super, not all of it. I never actually sat down and watched all. I got through a few episodes. I need to sit down and watch Super because I've seen Dragon Ball Z. So I got Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, and Part 7. And I know there's more parts that I haven't got. One day I will sit down and watch that stuff. Like I said, I just feel like I haven't had the time. Okay, on this shelf, so I got the Lord of the Rings extended cuts. These are the DVDs. I think there's Blu-rays now at this point, but I haven't picked them up. But I always love the cases for these. But it's been a while since I've actually gone back and watched the extended versions. That might be something I do on this channel where me and my buddies, we do like commentary tracks for them. I'd like that. Okay, so Star Wars A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. The reason I have these on DVD and not Blu-ray is because I hated the changes that either George Lucas decided to make, where the one I can't stand is where Darth Vader is throwing the Emperor off the thing and he's like, no, no, no. And I'm like, that was not necessary at all. And honestly, soon at some point I'll bite the bullet and buy the Blu-rays just because I want to have them actually on the shelf with the rest of them. But because I'm sure you guys are like, where are the Star Wars movies at? But I just hate those changes. I wish they would make a version that doesn't have those changes. Okay, so these are the last of the DVD movies that I have that basically, if a Blu-ray came out of these, I would pick it up. But as far as I know, they don't exist. Spies Like Us, a comedy from 1985 with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. I have the VHS of this movie, so I watch this a lot. This movie, there is a Blu-ray, but it's like a double pack or whatever, which I can't stand. So anyway, as of right now, I just have the DVD, but this movie's pretty funny. Homeward Bound, a movie that I grew up watching. Every time that Shadow doesn't show up at the very end and then eventually comes in, there's another movie that can make me tear up a little bit. As far as I know, there's not a Blu-ray of that, but I kind of get why there's not. Rules of Engagement. This is a movie I didn't see until a few years ago. I watched it on a streaming service, and I really liked it. It's a story about like Sam Jackson's character. He falls into some legal trouble as a Marine where there's a hectic situation where he had to fire on some people. And anyway, did he have the right to do that or whatever? And Tommy Lee Jones, anyway, it's kind of elaborate, but Tommy Lee Jones helps him out as like his military lawyer. It's pretty good. And I don't know why for the life of me there's not a Blu-ray of that. Rush Hour 2. I like Rush Hour 2 even more than the first one. I think this movie's great. And sadly, there's not an individual Blu-ray for this. There's a pack Blu-ray that has all the Rush Hour movies in it, but I don't want to associate myself with the third one, and I just want the individual Blu-ray. Can we not get that, please? Signs. I need to rewatch Signs, but I remember thinking it's creepy and I liked it, but that might be a movie I'd take out of here. Matrix Reloaded, Revolutions. You can buy this as a pack or the trilogy, but you can't buy this individually on Blu-ray. I would like that because the third one I think is the weakest of the original three. I haven't seen the new one. I heard the new one wasn't that good. Seraphim Falls. This is a cool Western. Pierce Brosnan, Liam Neeson. I liked it. I would like to get the Blu-ray of this, but I don't think it exists, or at least not in this region. I think there's other regions for it. Okay, we got some HBO shows. We got Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is great. I love it. I don't know. There's not much to say about it. I mean, it's a short series. Next, we got Game of Thrones. I got seasons. Let's do 1, season 2. Let me get the rest of these. Season 3, season 4, season 5. I've kind of messed with some of these cases where I accidentally, I shouldn't have thrown away the case for this one, but I did. But that's season 6, and then season 7. I don't own season 8 because, as anyone that watched that season knows, that is an abomination. So I don't own that. Also, I tried to watch a few episodes of House of the Dragon. I just think that show's boring, to be honest. I don't think they have a whole lot there. Okay, so this might be easier if I just show you as opposed to pulling these out. Okay, so we got the original Batman the Animated Series. I know they have like a Blu-ray that has all this condensed, so I might want to pick that up. Superman the Animated Series. I love both of these growing up. I mean, honestly, everything that's on this shelf that's the TV shows I grew up and I loved. I am missing a disc from this. I don't know where it went. So anyway, I eventually probably need to rebuy that on Blu-ray. Batman Beyond, love that. Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited have all of that. Teen Titans, you can buy like a small Blu-ray to get all of it, but love Teen Titans. The Batman, all 5 seasons, love that. Xiaolin Showdown, all 3 seasons. I don't think I ever finished like the 3rd season, but Xiaolin Showdown was pretty good. Down here, we got Dragon Ball Z seasons 1 through 9. I love how people call these the orange bricks and they're like derogatory towards them. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, Dragon Ball Z is like my second favorite like TV show of all time, so I don't really care. Hey Arnold, I haven't gone back and rewatched any of Hey Arnold since I was a kid, so I'd like to do that at some point. That's a show I could put on the background and just like kind of mellow out and enjoy a good time. SpongeBob, I have the first 3 seasons, and I feel like after that I don't feel like I need to own anymore. The first 3 is just pretty much all I need. Okay, let's slide this over. Okay, so over here, hard to see maybe a little bit. I have the first 4 seasons of Static Shock. I think that's all there was. Static Shock was pretty good, I thought. Ben 10, it's just the original Ben 10 first 4 seasons. I think that's all there is. I never got into the other Ben 10 shows. Just the original was fine for me. Mega Man NT Warrior, I am missing Volume 7. I have looked high and low for that thing. If anyone ever sees this and has it, I'll pay you good money for it. But, and another thing is I really like the Excess show as well. That was like the sequel series, or I guess the next season. And as far as I know, that's not available on DVD or Blu-ray, so I would really like that. X-Men Evolution Season 3, I loved X-Men Evolution, the show. And unfortunately, this is the only full season that's available on DVD. I think the other ones you have to buy in volume. I'd be down for that, but I don't know. I kind of just wish they would re-release it. Jackie Chan Adventures. Jackie Chan Adventures might be my favorite show of all time. I don't know, but as far as I know, the only thing you can buy is Season 2, and that's it. And I don't get it. Like, just re-release those. Star Wars The Clone Wars, but this isn't the 3D animation. This is the 2D one that came out before Episode 3 came out. I think they're really cool. I like them. Mad TV, I have the first season, second season, and third season, and the 4 seasons back there. I think I might want more seasons of Mad TV because I remember having a great time with that. Yu-Gi-Oh! I have the original Yu-Gi-Oh! The full series, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the first 3 seasons. There was a 4th season, but it never got dubbed in English, so I don't have it. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, I got the first season and the second season. I think there was a 3rd season of 5Ds that didn't get dubbed. I still, even though I'm not that big into Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, I still can enjoy watching the show when I'm in the right mood for it. Pokemon, at some point I'd like to go back and rewatch all of Pokemon, but oh my gosh, what a trip that would be. I basically stop as the 3rd arc, the Hoenn arc ends. That's when I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Because I think that's when it switched from Kids WB to another network, and I was like, I don't want to do this more. But yeah, Pokemon, that would take a long time. Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's the best show that I've ever seen. I have the whole thing of that. I have Legend of Korra in my closet. The only season I really like of that is Season 3. The other ones are just kind of hit or miss for me. The Season 4 is god-awful. Got Chappelle Show right here. Probably need to buy a newer version of that because the case is looking pretty bad. And then I got Boondock Season 1 through 3. and I love Boondocks. Season 4 I thought sucked. Anyway, okay, so that is it for my collection. So we finished up. So basically, it was about two and a half hours worth of content to get through all that and separate amongst 3 videos. So it was a lot of work, but at least I didn't have to do any editing, and I hope you guys respect the fact. I mean, I'm going on like little to no sleep, but hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed giving that to you, and I'll try to do like a yearly update of this from now on. Just to let you guys know, and hopefully I clear out some of this crap and add more good stuff. But anyway, that's it. Have a good one.